Here at Pure Light. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We are talking about raising kiddos naturally. So, with raising kiddos naturally, in my life, it's my everyday. Did it today, did it yesterday, gonna do it a week from now, a year from now, when I have more kiddos, gonna keep doing it and keep educating people about it because it's so important to raise our kiddos naturally. Why? Because they're healthier. They're what we call superhuman Cairo kids. Those are the kiddos that if you start it prior to conceiving and prior to getting pregnant and giving birth and armed with this education and understanding, moving into parenthood, that these kiddos are so freaking healthy. They are healthy through every stage of life. They develop quicker. They're happier. They do it all because here's the reality is that we have the sickest kiddos in the history of mankind. It is crazy when you look at the statistics. I'm not going to bore you with it, but gosh, go and look them up. It's saddening. It's disheartening. It's disgusting. It's unacceptable, in my opinion. We can do so much more than that. Now we are in an age that we are more equipped with information than ever before. We all have these cell phones that are little computers that have access to the internet that you can find out so much stuff, even though it's conflicting. I know it's sometimes really annoying, but there's so much information out there to help us arm ourselves to optimize our systems and our children's systems to be as healthy as we possibly can be. It is so important. Nothing makes us happier than to see babies, kiddos, teenagers, and families thrive when they switch over to living a more natural lifestyle. When we say natural lifestyle, that doesn't mean anti-medicine. Right? It doesn't mean anti-Western medicine, anti-Western stuff, right? Western medicine has its place, right? What it does, what it's great at, it's amazing at, is that if we have a major injury or trauma, it helps us out with that. However, the world has been led by a mainstream Western medicine model, and that's where we are running into the fact that our kiddos are the most unhealthy they've ever been. And when those unhealthy kiddos have offspring, they're going to become unhealthier. So mark my words, in 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, the kiddos who kept living this mainstream, unhealthy, artificial, toxic lifestyle are going to yield offspring that are ridiculously sick. It saddens me. However, if you switch to natural, you can rehabilitate your genetics and the genetics of your children so that when they have children, if they continue that natural lifestyle until the childbearing years, and they decide to get married and have a partner and have children, their children are going to be healthier than them. Because I know that's the case for myself and families that we take care of. My daughter, in her infancy and now in her toddlerhood, is way healthier than I was as a kid. Why? Because I rehabilitated my genetics and then I had offspring that is healthier. Okay? So medicine stands its place, but adopt on an everyday, day-to-day basis. Let's fuel health naturally. Okay? That's what we are all about. So when we're looking for a guide like myself, so a healthcare guide or somebody who you follow in the world, look at what they're coming from. Okay? So there's these two models. One would be a treatment model. Okay. One would be a salutogenic model. Okay. The treatment model looks at there's something wrong in the system. Let's treat it. Salutogenic model looks at even if there's something wrong in the system, how can we fuel health so the body flourishes and the thing that's going wrong just fades away. The treatment thing is necessary. If we get a big laceration, something happens, we have a heart attack, it's important to have a treatment model. However, it's good to have both, okay? A lot of families choose to have more of a natural treatment way of taking care of their children. In our community, naturopaths are really common, right? They treat things more naturally. From a salutogenic standpoint, that's why families come to see us. We're caring for their system, and if they ask us to optimize things, we optimize them, okay? So I would recommend having both of those. Me, personally, we choose to go the naturopathic route and have them there if we need that treatment model. And if something was really bad, we would just go to the ER, just like so many families would. Okay. So when we look at raising kiddos naturally, we can break it down into multiple different categories and then break it down into systems in the body and what makes really important, what systems are really important to fuel, right? Make sure that we have no interference in those systems. And how can we boost them? How can we optimize them? And we have a few other topics. So as we know, is what we do, nervous system wise, stress wise, important one, digestion, immunity, movement, sleep, living clean, and then stocking yourself with nature's medicine cabinet. Okay. For if we want to at home treat some things, if we need to. Okay. So central nervous system. Why is the central nervous system the boss? Because that's the way it was designed to be. It's the electrical system within our body. It's the system that allows us everything else to coordinate. So we're beginning to realize in our world of understanding about stress, right? Stress is the biggest detriment to it all. When our system is stressed out, when our kiddos are stressed out, they're not going to function as well. So we need to create more of a relaxed, more balanced environment. How do we make sure that stress isn't consistently affecting them subconsciously? Consistent chiropractic care. What are other things in our life that we can do as well, right? Two big ones, okay? When raising kiddos naturally, we need to make sure that we have a healthy environment for relationships between parents, within the family unit, with friends, in a school system. If you sense, mom and dad, that there's any stress from any of those topics, of those types of relationships, yank your child and move on and do something else. If something's happening within your family unit, resolve it or make a change, right? However that looks for you. Make a change, because relationships for the human being are so important. And what healthy relationships do is they trigger parts of our nervous system when our nervous system is working properly, right? So that's in our office. We get kiddos' nervous systems to work more properly. So when they have healthy relationships, it actually fuels their brain the way it was designed to. Okay, so there's a new theory called social vagus, right? It's the most balanced part of our nervous system. And when we have healthy relationships, and we have a balanced central nervous system that's accessing that social vagus part, it then fuels our nervous system to do the things that it was designed to do naturally, right? We were naturally meant to have healthy relationships and a properly working social vagus part of our central nervous system, okay? We all know that too much screen time stresses out our children. Can we get away from it? No. Can you minimize it? Yes. If your kiddos go to the public school system, sorry to say, it's really challenging to minimize that. But what you can do when they get home, no screen time. Cut it out. Make sure they're playing. You're doing things in the household that are non-technology driven, especially, gosh, if you're like, hey, I want to live naturally, but we can't get away from the technology at all, even in our own house. And I know they go to public school too. Cut it out an hour before bed. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Those are the two biggest ones that we have. Healthy relationships. If they're toxic, get them out. Minimize the screen time. Make things more natural. Big one is kiddos are looking out, playing out, and looking out in the distance, playing outside, doing those things. Super important to raising your kiddo naturally, right? And then you can go down the rabbit hole of minimizing other EMFs such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all that, right? Go and do your research on that. That's another stressor to the central nervous system, okay? So second, digestion. Central nervous system controls digestion, and then digestion feeds back into central nervous system. It's a feedback loop. It's a loop, right? We hear gut-brain connection. We like to say brain-gut connection because your brain actually controls the gut, and then gut feeds back into the brain. So on the hierarchy, digestion is number 2, okay? No pun intended with that one. But stress affects digestion, okay? Relaxed brain affects digestion in a positive way, okay? Keep that gut balanced. A great way, most natural way to keep that gut balanced is make sure your kiddo has an organic, whole foods-based diet. That is the groundwork basis, right? Step on top of that is we can do things additionally to fuel our children's gut, okay? One of my favorite people to follow in the world, Dr. Zach Bush, says that instead of taking a probiotic, which you can do that for your kiddo's gut, it's good. Instead of doing that on an everyday basis, is expose your children to different environments, right? Here in Central Oregon, a lot of us live in the high desert, right? Go over towards the valley or the Mackenzie River, which is more of a moist environment. Go out more towards the east, go into the desert. People like to go on vacations. Go on a vacation. Go over to the coast if you live in Oregon. Switch up the environments. Even if it's like, hey, I don't have the luxury of doing all that. Go from one neighborhood park to a next neighborhood park to another one. Just shift the environments because your kiddos get exposed to different microbes that therefore populate their systems better. And then you have these positive new inputs from new environments that affects their gut and affects the microbial environment in their body and allows them to flourish. Okay. You want to go another step on that. Okay. Supplementation, right? Same person, Zach Bush, Ion Gut. Okay. Ion Gut, look into it. It's amazing. Heals the gut lining, helps. It works as a barricade for the GMO ridden glyphosate environment that we all live in. Helps heal that gut, helps balance that gut. Super, super important. Heal that gut, make sure they are doing well, right? So let's go the contrast, right? The unhealthy, unnatural lifestyle, all the artificial junk, all the GMO food, all the crap, the playing, the hard one is like playing in an environment in which you know or might know that is sprayed with Roundup, right? So biggest one is if you're going to go to a park, right? And it's all green grass and you don't see one little weed anywhere, you can bet they spray that thing with glyphosate or Roundup. So keep those environments out. Go to more natural environments if you can. Those are super, super important to fueling that gut. And the gut is a very, very complex thing. You can go down it with parasites, microbial imbalances, all that. When you go to more of a treatment-based doctor, more natural treatment-based doctor, they can get that balanced gut happening from things like stool tests and breath things to determine SIBO and all of that. But gut is super, super important to get balance secondary to the central nervous system. Okay. And then third, right? Third thing that it gets influenced by the central nervous system, by the gut, is the immune system. If you have a balanced central nervous system, you have a balanced gut, your immune system is going to be rocking. Okay. How do you fuel that immune system naturally? Two big ones. Okay. Make sure we're relaxed. Make sure we have a balanced gut. But thirdly, make sure that our kiddos we're allowing their immune system to do what it was designed to do, right? Symptoms are not bad. Let me say that again. Symptoms are not bad. Stuffy noses, coughs, fevers, diarrhea, vomiting, right? They're all no fun, but it's what the system was designed to do. And when we start throwing pharmaceutical interventions at it, we're now telling the body, just like if we had, let's say, thyroid issues and we started throwing levothyroxine into it, or a bodybuilder wanted to get extra buff and shot steroids, right? What's going to happen if you take the thyroid medication? Your thyroid's going to shrink. What happens if you take, for a male, if you take steroids and you take steroids to artificially boost your testosterone, your testicles shrink, right? What happening is within the immune system, if you give the body what you think it needs, right? Suppression of symptoms, then you're educating the body to have an improperly functioning immune system, right? The hard thing is that we've educated our systems so strongly that it takes a long time to rehabilitate an immune system back to the way it was designed to, right? We should have symptoms that come on heavy, come on strong. We shouldn't be afraid of them. And right with a fever, right, there's a certain limit in which we shouldn't go beyond, which is like, 104.2 ish, but consistently. But we should allow the immune system, the symptoms to come on strong and then subside quickly. A couple days, we're good to go, rock it. As long as it doesn't happen month after month, symptoms are good. The immune system working properly. How do we support that, right? When we get symptomatic, no sugar, no dairy. 2 big ones. And rest. No sugar, no dairy, rest. And you can support it with vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, all of that, right? Those are fueling the systems. You're not treating what's going on in their body. You're just creating an environment for the immune system to work the way that it was designed to do. Okay? So fevers. I like to talk about this one. Are fevers bad? No. However, what's happened is our biggest friends, the pharmaceutical companies, have educated us on so many things, especially fevers, right? The pharmaceuticals have educated so much that they've educated medical doctors and the general public that fevers are bad, right? Beyond a certain point, they're not good. So sustained 104.2 over that for a couple hours within a kiddo, not bueno, right? So then we should take antipyretics, which is medications such as Tylenol, to lower that, right? And under the age of 3 months, we don't want essentially to go over that 104 mark, right? That can be detrimental for a kiddo. However, fevers are good, stated by the American Academy of Pediatrics. They said nowhere did they educate the fact that fevers are bad. We have a fever-phobic culture. If you want to challenge me on that, I'd be happy to send you the article written by the American Academy of Pediatrics, designing and outlining all of those things. So don't fear the fever. The fever is good. The body raises it to cook out those things. Super duper important. So, okay, let's go one step deeper within the immune system, okay? Because I feel now more than ever, right, we've had such improper education upon immune system function from the last 2 years that we need to relearn a few things or reiterate a few things, okay? So the germ theory versus other theories, right? The germ theory, bugs cause us to get sick. The fact that when we get sick, let's begin to look at it as a good thing. As long as it's not happening month after month, year after year, we need to get sick a couple times a year. It's a good detox process that allows our immune system to flex its muscles. When we get a virus, there are some theories, right? So the germ theory is the main one, right? That's like sickness is bad, germs make you sick, stay away, okay? That is the pervasive theory upon the immune system when it comes to germs. That's prevalent so strongly amongst our society. However, different research topics, okay, different theories that have never gone up because they're not attached to the mainstream narrative, look at viruses, and there's some research to show that 50% of our genetics have come from viruses over a period of time. So what that means is that viruses have actually reshaped our genetic expression as human beings to help us better adapt to an ever-changing world. Okay? Viruses within that theory are therefore good. They help us adapt to an ever-changing world. Okay? Different way to look at it. So, therefore, when symptoms come in, and some of our family members get sick and other ones that don't, let's just aid the process, remove some things out of the diet like I talked about before, optimize the system. A lot of our families choose to get adjusted during that time because it makes symptoms or sicknesses get worse or get better quicker because it makes the central nervous system run better, and the central nervous system controls the immune system, and that is awesome. Okay, so we can go deeper into that topic, but naturally look at those things differently. If you want to dig deeper, look at the terrain theory instead of the germ theory. Movement. So movement, do it naturally. Okay, so when I say that is get out in nature, run, jump, play, ride bikes, swing. The biggest thing for natural movement is using our brains, running fast, jumping over things, running on unlevel surfaces and moving on unlevel surfaces, especially for babies and toddlers. We need kiddos, babies and toddlers need to do that for a couple hours a day. It's walking on unlevel surfaces. So what that means is like going from grass to the mulch and over rocks and on soft surfaces and hard surfaces. It builds the brain to the way that it's designed. Okay. So with that proper movement naturally is that when our kiddos have really clunky shoes, right? Really thick soles that don't move well, that doesn't allow the area that we contact the earth, the base of our feet, to mold and change and shape to the way the earth that it was designed to, right? So that's why I'm barefoot a lot. My daughter's barefoot a lot. But when it's wet outside or environments that you're like, I want my kiddos to be wearing shoes, you can get minimalistic shoes, right? There's shoes like Zero Shoes and Vivo Barefoot. With new walkers, you can do stride rights, and stride rights, there's a part of it called soft motion, and soft motion stride lights are really flexible and allow those feet to move the way that they're designed. If you got really first walkers and you want to do more of moccasins, Soft Star is a brand. Robies is a brand. You look at these minimalistic shoes, Merrell has some great ones. These minimalistic shoes that don't have the heel wedge, right? So I'm gonna pick on a couple brands, right? So Timberland, say Timberland, the cool looking boots that we all used to wear. Really high sole, not flexible bottom, doesn't allow our feet to move the way that they should, and it makes our feet weak, and then it doesn't nourish our brain that it was designed to when we walk on unlevel surfaces. So go more of a minimalist shoe, go more of a moccasin if you can. The more minimalist shoes, moccasins, are typically more expensive, but it's very, very helpful. If you want to really go all natural, let your kiddos be barefoot as much as you can in a safe environment, and they will flourish, because then therefore they contact the earth, right? So this is another level that I'm going to get into with movement and natural things, is that when they contact the earth with their bare foot, there's a topic called earthing, right? It sounds super earthy, crunchy, right? But it's called earthing, and there's a lot of research behind it. Okay. So what it says is that when our feet contact the earth, it's the number one antioxidant in the entire world. When we think of antioxidants, we think of fruits, we think of vegetables, things that take free radicals out of our body, right? And creates a better environment for our body. So when we contact our bare feet on the earth, it's it's the biggest antioxidant in the entire world, right? It takes the free radicals out of our body the strongest. And what it also does is it reduces inflammation in our body. I tell people all the time is that sit in the sun for 15 minutes a day and put your feet in the dirt. Okay. Do the combo, sit on a chair and do that, right? Sunbathing gets the infrared into the system, vitamin D boosts, and the feet on the earth all at the same time. So beneficial for your health. So implement that with your kids. On that, let me go a little bit on that tangent as well. So with your kids, 15 minutes of direct sunlight every single day without sunscreen, right? If they're going beyond that and they're staying in the sun, my favorite way to do it with my own child and myself is that I'll just wear a hat, or I'll wear a really breathable longer sleeve shirt, right? So that I don't get too much exposure to the sun, or find an area to play where there is some shade. Super duper important, because you can get natural sunscreens, but the unnatural ones are super toxic. Okay. So that is the topic of movement. One more thing on that, let me add, is that with toddlers and kiddos. So let me just say infants, is that the bumbo seats, forcing children to do things that they're not already doing. So the bumbo seats, to sit them up, the jumpers, right? Even though if you do it for 5 minutes a day, mom, while you take a shower, there's no shame, right? I understand that. Some kiddos are extremely demanding, but don't make it a major habit, right? Because you're putting kiddos in a way of moving and placing their body that they're not designed to do so. Okay, when we do that, we're going to run into issues in the longer term. So set your kiddos up in a natural movement way. Okay, sleep. Sleep is the next one. Obviously, 8 to 10 hours of sleep for a young child or for a kiddo, super important. Beyond that, into infancy, they should be sleeping more than 10 hours a day. Okay, toddlers, good 12 hours a day. Really, really important. Okay, to influence that from a natural sleep perspective is no technology or no major meals 1 hour before bed. Doesn't stress out the nervous system, doesn't overactive the digestive tract, so that they can get a good night's rest. Okay. Add for lights within the room surrounding bedtime. Salt lamps are the best. That orange glow, great, activates their brain to cause them like the dusk sun that has that orange glow. It activates the brain to get ready for sleep, and especially no blue lights in their room surrounding sleep. Blue lights are stressful to the brain. I'm looking at one right now as we speak. That's why I'm all lit up, okay? Blue lights are no bueno. You want that soft, warm light. So when incandescent lights are the best, right? I go LED as well, even though they emit some EMF is what people say. And that can influence our system too. But I go the soft warm lights, okay? That has that more of an orangey glow, more relaxed on the system. So if your kiddos have like more of a whitish bright light in their room, get that thing out, okay? Living clean, okay? Living clean, natural, right? So just go down that rabbit hole of natural cleaning products, natural fragrances. You can contact one of your friends who does essential oils, because I know you got 30 of them. Just start to look into things of how doing things naturally, things you put on your body, artificial colors, artificial flavors, all of that. Get it all natural, right? You don't need chemicals. You don't need toxins. Chemicals in kiddos do not mix well. A developing, replicating system that is striving to grow and be healthy, chemicals in kiddos do not mix, okay? All right, so if you are now stocking up on Nature's Medicine Cabinet, okay? So these are talking about from a fueling perspective, right? So instead of a treatment perspective, okay? Supporting a system. Always look at it from a optimizing and supporting a system instead of treating things, okay? So supplements, okay? Core ones for kiddos is what we say is like cod liver oil, ion gut, mighty minerals, and then some sort of a bioavailable plant-based or animal-based multivitamin, okay? For immune system, get immune systems working strong, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and elderberry without sugar, okay? You can get all the different herbs, right? That's a whole nother topic. Go down that rabbit hole of herbs. And then raw local honey, right? Raw local honey, especially given consistently to our kiddos. Our kiddos love it from your own specific environment, causes kiddos to be exposed things from their environment, and it causes their immune system to not react as strongly, especially during times such as the spring, okay? So that was a lot. Digest that, implement. Biggest one is making sure that stress is not stuck on. Calm that system down through consistent brain-based, neurologically based chiropractic care, such as like from somebody like us at Pure Light, or if you're in another community, contact us. We'll help you find somebody. Give us our zip code, send us an email, post on here. We'd be happy to help you find somebody, okay? Here's some action steps, okay? So get a new guide, right? So a new guide would be a new healthcare provider from a more natural perspective. Get somebody who does a natural treatment thing, get somebody who does optimizing thing like us, and then rock on both of those, okay? Make that your normal, start to clear things out, go through multiple times of what I talked about tonight. Follow these tactics, be consistent, make it a part of your lifestyle, and nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. And if you're like, hey, first time hearing this, for the calming down the system through neurologically based chiropractic care for kiddos, that's light touch, tonal, no cracking, twisting, popping, none of that. Mention this webinar. When you give us a call, we'll give you 50% off your initial visit. So any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. Send me an email. My name, David Lutz at purelightfamily.com. And we'll be so happy to walk with you on this journey of raising your kiddo naturally. Have an amazing evening.